Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Odyssey House Journals. I'm Randall Carlisle. My co-host Rachel Santizo is here.
Good morning.
Our guest is Summer Ogzawala. And did I get that right?
You said it right.
It's a hard last name. This is one of the most listened and watched podcasts dealing with addiction and recovery. And just to briefly update you, you can watch us if you want to see our new studio and see how good everybody looks today. You can just go to YouTube and put in Odyssey House Journals and you'll find us. And then we're on every podcast platform, and we are on KKAT Radio 860 AM in Salt Lake City as well, every Saturday and Sunday morning at 10 a.m. My stopwatch is falling off my chair. And we love to hear stories about success, right?
Right.
Rachel, you're how long clean?
11 and a half years.
11. And
I want to also give it up for Randall because he just celebrated 11 years as well.
11 years.
Congrats.
Mine's from alcohol, yours from heroin.
Heroin and the needle. I would say the needle more than anything. Yeah.
And the reason we talk about either people who are in severe addiction or who have recovered is because we want to give hope to people who have loved ones in addiction, or if you happen to be watching and you're dealing with addiction, there are plenty of ways out if you search for them.
Right, and it does a lot more for us than we do for others. Right, in our own recovery. So it's that breaking that cycle.
So our guest, Summer, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
How long have you been in recovery?
Ooh, 13 years.
Oh, she's got us beat.
Yay!
Tell us about, before we get into your present, which is really cool, tell us about your past, your addiction, and how it affected your kids and all that kind of stuff.
All that fun stuff. Let's see. I hurt my back at work. And after doing like years and years of like physical therapy and treatments with different doctors and all that good stuff, they finally get in to see a pain specialist, and this pain specialist just keeps giving you more and
Here's
more.
some opioid pain pills. Here's some more opioid pain pills.
Yeah, and it was, I swear, every month I was going in, maybe it was longer than that, but it felt like I was going in quite often, and every time I would go in, they would change the dose, like they would up it, and I was on just more and more and different kinds and everything, and then by the time like I hit a peak, it was like, oh, we can't see you anymore. You have a problem.
No more pain pills.
Yeah.
and I'm how old were you at this time?
I want to say it was 24, 25.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was a CNA and I was just transferring a patient, did a simple maneuver, and he decided to sit down in the middle of the twist and pulled me, popped something in my back.
So you were obviously addicted to them, and so they're going to cut you off. So what happened?
After I got cut off, I quickly switched to heroin. Well, I take that back. I would buy them off the street, buy them from people.
But they're expensive as hell.
They are expensive. There was a while where I was going to different doctor shopping a lot. I did attempt to make copies of my prescriptions. That was back in the day when they gave you paper. And I would go make copies.
Which is highly illegal.
Highly illegal. Yes. I do not recommend that. Yes. But I did try to do that a few times. And let's see. Just buying them off the street. And then one day I had a friend be like, I use heroin. It's a great way, to help with pain, and it's way cheaper. So we tried it. Not a big fan. Kept trying to get pain pills, and it just seemed like they were getting harder and harder, and I wasn't working at that point. And so just made the switch, and it was like in 3 months, I can tell you, 3 months time, I'd lost everything. I had lost my house, I had lost my kids, I had lost everything that mattered, and I was in jail alone.
On what charges?
I had the forgery charges for the prescriptions. I had a theft charge. I had an attempted forgery charge. Just, like theft, little charges, but big enough to get me in jail.
This is such a story that we hear from so many people now that I was prescribed pain pills. They cut me off. I tried to buy them on the street. They were expensive, so I switched to heroin. Just for people who don't know, what does and I know you're not using anymore, but do you guys know how much you would buy a real or phony Oxy on the street versus a packet of heroin? What's the cost difference?
So when I would wake up, I have a similar story. When I would wake up, I'd need at least 10 Loratabs. 10 milligram to take. And so if you have a little bit of heroin, and I would shoot it up, like you can mix it with other things to make it last longer, and you just need a little bit in the needle.
I heard like pain pills are going for like what, $30-$50 a piece?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't even know what they are now, but I remember paying like $80, and this was
For one pain pill.
If it was an Oxy, Oxy were like $1 a milligram.
If it was an Oxy, yeah,
And a packet of heroin,
$10.
Yeah.
and it does the same. I mean, it has
Same thing.
the same effect on your body.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you could get away with using the $10 for way longer than
Sure.
than an 80 milligram Oxy.
Yeah, and it was more potent too. So it depended on who had what pills, how strong they were.
Yeah.
It was a huge game. And if you're just taking them to be sick or get high, sometimes it was just so you could get up in the morning.
And the problem is you're dependent on a dealer, right?
Yes.
So you're tracking down your dealer or another dealer, and they're not real reliable, are they?
No.
I mean, it's like I'll
Mine
be
never.
there.
Mine works.
I'll be there when I want to be there, and you'll be there, or you won't get your stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So okay, so you had how many kids did you?
I have 3 kids.
And you lost them all to.
Yeah, so I remember it exactly. We had actually just took some heroin. I went to go take these friends home, and it was literally right down the street, but they were like, can you stop at 7-Eleven? So I stopped at 7-Eleven, and I forgot to turn on the headlights, and I got pulled over, and I had a warrant out for my arrest, got arrested. My kids were home with some strangers, and as soon as I got to the jail and was able to use the phone, I called my dad and said, I need you to go get my kids now.
Wow. You know, the thing people who are not familiar with addiction don't understand, and pass judgment too, is how, and you did the same thing with your kids.
I did.
And how in the hell could a drug be more important to you than your kids? But at the time it is, right?
Yeah, because you need it to be able to take care of your kids.
Become so dependent.
Yeah.
At this time, I'm curious, were you still having back issues? Like, do you still have back problems?
In my head, I think I was.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, I think by this point, I don't know if my back was still hurting or,
Right.
what was really going on.
Yeah.
It was more the
Okay.
addiction, but
So now to the good part. How did you end up getting clean and being in recovery for longer than Rachel and me?
I know.
I don't like her
question.
anymore. Yeah.
well, so best story ever. I sat in jail on $100 bail, and this wasn't even like bail bonds $100. This was $100 bail.
Okay.
Nobody would bail me out. 72 days I was in jail, and
How many days?
72.
Wow.
On $100, and nobody would help you with $100,
Nope.
and the bail bondsman wouldn't do it for $10 to get you out.
I had no money. I had nothing.
Okay. All right.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah,
So-
I had nothing. I was there on a $100 bill. I got out. I walked from Salt Lake County Jail to my house, which was still there. I mean, all of my stuff had been stolen by tweakers, but I walked to my house, called my aunt, and because that's when people still have landlines. Called my aunt, let her know that they're recommending I go into treatment, and she helped me go and do an evaluation and go do all the stuff I needed to, and I went and did that. And I came to Odyssey and did my intake, and then they came and gave me a tour at the parents program. And one of the therapists there at the time was like, because I was going to come in not the next day, but the day after, just so I could get everything together. I wasn't like stalling, but I had to get stuff together. But he was like, just come in today, go home, get your stuff together. It's not going to take you that long. Just come back. So I did. Just came right back that day. I had nothing left at home for me. Why would I stay there?
What shifted? So a lot of people get out of jail, and you went straight in. Like, what shifted for you?
I have never been in trouble like that before in my life. I have never had to sit in jail for that long ever. Like, this was like my first time ever being in trouble. I mean, I did have a couple, like, in the beginning when this all started, getting in trouble and going to jail for a few hours, but never sitting in there through Easter, my birthday, Mother's Day, without my kids, and not knowing what was really going on with them, where they were. I knew that they were in foster care, but I couldn't see them. And then I think it was really hard for me because my boys went with their dad, and then my daughter stayed in foster care. So I just had to make a change, had to do something different.
So when you entered Odyssey, you were ready. It wasn't anything
ready.
you were going to fight. Like, I hate these rules. I don't want to do any of this stuff.
No, I was ready.
And it seems to me like the people who succeed in any treatment program or Odyssey's program, you sort of have to humble yourself and say, okay, some of the stuff you're telling me I think sounds like crap and I don't believe it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Is that sort of?
Yeah, kind of like that. And I mean, it made sense to me. Like,
Okay.
all the things that they were telling me and the way it worked, it made sense to me. The only thing I had fight left was for me and for my kids. Like, I couldn't fight against the man or fight against Odyssey or
Right.
fight against anything. I had to fight for myself.
So, and for people who don't know, our parents program is aimed at getting kids back together with their mom or their dad.
Yeah.
And we work that through working with DCFS or whoever has custody of the kids. So how long were you in there before you got? And it's a trial period too when the kids come in. That
Yeah.
everything has to work out. So what was the timetable on that?
I think I was there, maybe a month before they brought Reagan in. So not super long. But yeah, they brought Reagan in. She was there with me for about 6 weeks, maybe a little longer time-wise. And then both boys came at once because they were down in St. George with their dad. But they both came at once. So instead of like moving them in separately and taking their time, it was like
Right.
they came up and they were there.
How did your kids respond to? We're familiar with the parents' house. It's not a large facility. I think the max is 16 moms and dads and 23 kids, I think, or something.
Something like that.
And it's sort of controlled chaos when you have a bunch of little babies and toddlers and then kids who are a little older at the same. How did your kids respond to that?
They liked it. I would say on the surface, as far as like being around all the kids, at first it was like, whoa, there's so many moms and there's so many dads, and all the kids, and they loved having all the kids around. They would, once they got used to it, they would fight all the time with the other kids.
Really?
Brothers and sisters, yeah. That's what it was like. You were in there with your brothers and sisters all the time. And I've got friends still that were in the program with me. They're brothers and sisters, or cousins. They're family.
It
But
shows you
they-
how old I am. It reminds me of an old hippie commune. Well, you think
That's
about
what
it.
it is.
Only you're not doing drugs like
Right.
the hippie commune did. Yeah. So how long did you stay, and then then
I hate to say this. I was there a long time. 23 months.
slow learner.
Yeah, real slow learner.
What kept you there so long?
Comfortable.
Really?
I was comfortable. Well, and then I don't know, for a long time I kept getting in trouble because Reagan would wake up in the middle of the night and you're not supposed to co-sleep, which is totally fine because I hate co-sleeping. But she would crawl in bed with me and I wouldn't wake up. I was just a dead sleeper and I would get restarted all the time. So I had to learn something new. That was something that took me some time to do.
Well, while you were in there, the kids also get a form of treatment as well and
Yes.
healing.
Yeah.
Right? What did it do for your kids in that aspect?
Oh my gosh, they learned so much. Like at the time, it didn't seem like a lot, but in school it helped them. They learned a lot. They were really good learners, really smart. Got a lot of extra stuff in the beginning. Manners, big with manners, big with like using their words, as they would say. Like instead of fighting with other kids at school or fighting, they would just say, "Hey, I don't like it when you do that."
Right. As opposed to saying, "Hey, you're a dummy. Let's
Yeah,
fight."
yeah.
And that's sort of what Odyssey teaches clients too, is to work things out in a civil way.
Yeah.
Right.
But of
And-
course, when they come in, they've got, a little
Oh,
bit of
yeah.
behavioral issues that you got to work through. I'm not going to say a little bit. It was probably a lot.
Sure, because they've gone through
Right.
trauma
Yeah.
because of your actions, right?
Yeah.
And we have this wonderful child therapist there who is just, I love him. He does play therapy with them, and they get you and your kids together too, right? And
Yeah.
work on how you can be a better mom and how they can function better under the circumstances. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You learn a
just-
lot.
You learn a lot, and you learn how to play together and have fun
Yeah.
together as a family. It's really neat.
So you finally get out of Odyssey,
Mm-hmm.
and where's your life go from there?
Well, I worked for a massage school for a really long time, and then I've
You
worked.
do massages?
No, heck no.
Oh,
Dang.
I was going to ask.
Heck no. But I've actually worked for Odyssey pretty much since a year after I graduated. Part-time, always part-time. And then just this last year I went full-time.
And just to show you how people can succeed, and I think this is such a wonderful example, tell us about your position right now at Odyssey.
Oh, right now I am the executive assistant for the CEO.
And the CEO is the
wonderful.
top dog here at Odyssey, and that means that Summer is really privy to an awful lot of confidential information. So give us a no. I'm going to say tell us
Tell us the
something.
top secret.
No, but it goes to show you that somebody goes from a heroin addict on the street, losing their kids, to several years later, after a lot of hard work, that you're working for the CEO of a major behavioral treatment program.
Right.
And you're trusted. He trusts you, I know, implicitly.
Oh, I know. And it's such an honor. Like, it is such an honor.
Go
Good.
ahead.
I was and how are your kids? Like, where are your kids? It felt like Odyssey was that foundation for you guys to start over, and it just never stopped for you.
Yeah, it never stopped. Like, you write your 5-year goals, and I met my 5-year goals. I graduated from college. I bought a house, and I think once I got that house, like, my kids had a better foundation. And my oldest just graduated from high school last year, and he is now a shift manager. I don't know how they put it at In-N-Out.
Nice.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but he's doing really good. He's killer. And then my middle son is a cheerleader and is killing it.
So cute.
Yeah, and then my daughter is amazing. She is working her little butt off, and she is the most independent little thing ever.
I love that.
Is it? I mean, it's amazing how far you can come, but it has been hard work, right?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Are you totally happy now with your life?
I mean, there's definitely things that can improve, but yeah, I'm happy.
Were you happy when you were in addiction?
No.
And how do you maintain it? So you work for the same place that you got treatment at, being a mother. How do you maintain your recovery?
My friends in recovery.
Yeah.
Like, I have my friends, going out with them, doing things with them, concerts, being here, giving back to the clients.
Yeah.
That helps out a lot. Being here, just giving back.
That is
That
so
connection.
significant.
Mhm.
Whether you're a believer of a 12-step program, the 12-step is service work and giving back what you've gotten. And no matter what program you go through, everybody talks about that because that makes a huge, staying in the recovery community and helping others seems to be the key to not relapsing. What do you,
I agree.
yeah?
I agree.
Because you work with, you do a lot of stuff with Odyssey grads and things like that.
Mhm.
You guys actually have fun without being high?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that was
Isn't that funny?
my big
Yeah.
fear when I stopped drinking was I'm not going to have fun anymore if I don't drink when I go out and do stuff. You know,
You know what? It's way more fun, Randall, because you can go out and you can act funny and be funny and still remember the concert the next day. And people look at you like you're crazy and you don't care.
that was, yeah.
I love it.
Especially remembering all the interactions you've had with people.
Yeah.
You know.
And waking up not sick.
Yes.
Yeah. And I used to hate when I'd wake up and I'd think, what did I do last night?
Mhm. Yeah.
And did I make an ass of myself?
Who do I need to apologize to?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. What would your advice be to, like, say, loved one people who have loved ones who are in addiction? What would your advice be to help them along, but not enable them or the boundary issue, that kind of stuff?
Hold your boundaries. Like, put your foot down. I think for me, that was my turning point, was being left alone. $100 bail, stuck in jail. I didn't have anybody come get me out. And, you know, it turned everything around for me. So hold your boundaries.
Now, if somebody would have come in and said, okay, after one day in jail, here I'm paying the $100 and you're getting out.
Oh, I'd probably be dead.
So the fact that nobody did that, even though there were people who could have, but they said, we're not doing that with Summer anymore. She's just
Yeah.
going to screw up again. It helped.
Yeah, it helped a lot.
So being tough is a good thing.
Tough
Yeah.
love.
Absolutely. You can't save everyone, and I think robbing people from their experiences, like, it's something that we need to go through, and if we don't, then we're just going to keep doing the same thing. At least that's from my experience. So
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as long as people are helping you go along in your addiction with whatever you're doing, because you're hanging around other people who are doing the same thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're not going to change. Okay,
Exactly.
tell us one secret from our CEO's office.
Randall's the best.
Yeah.
There
See,
we go.
She
There we
is
go.
trustworthy, and I think you are just such a wonderful example. Rachel, you too.
Thank
You're
you.
in administration at Fit to Recover, and I work in media and community relations here at
Yeah.
Odyssey House, and we're all in recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Together.
Yeah.
and they trust us. My
I know.
God,
My God. It's amazing.
isn't that a good feeling? Because the more people trust you, the more you really do work to earn that trust and keep that trust.
Yep, exactly.
I tell people all the time, I'm super grateful for keys. Like, that I have a key to, like, your own house or to a building or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
never had keys before.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, keeping that simple gratitude, like, I have keys today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're out of time. Thank you, Summer.
Yeah, you're
thank you, and I
welcome.
hope you. I know you'll provide inspiration to other people watching that recovery is possible for anyone,
Yeah. Thank
and
you.
it really works out well.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Summer. Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you, and happy 11 again, Randall.
Happy 11th to you. Happy,
Happy
13th to
13.
you.
Mhm.
And happy, I hope, I don't know, for anybody watching, whatever it is, recovery's possible. So
Yeah.
thanks for watching another edition of Odyssey House Journals.